Hey, this is Cameron. Welcome back to the Busy Gardener channel. We're gonna do a quick look today at my dad's Pakistani mulberry. We're gonna harvest some fruit off of here. I'm so excited. Let's get busy. So in my dad's front yard, he's got this Pakistani mulberry. He's got that loquat tree over there in the corner, most of the fruit's off of it. So we pulled up here today and I ran over just to see what was going on. And when I first got up here, I noticed that there were a bunch of these green ones. I thought, oh, they're not ready. But then I spotted all of these ripe ones, these ripe mulberries. Now, mulberries are an interesting kind of fruit. These trees get humongous. The roots get kind of invasive. So it's nice that it's really far away from his house. It's planted maybe, I don't know, 40 feet away from that, and just a really small block wall here. So I'm gonna grab some of these mulberries off of here. Now the mulberry is, really this one's probably a little bit immature, but it was the closest by. They're a really tasty fruit, they're really unique tasting, and the ones that are really ripe, oh man, I hope you can hear me with the wind. When the ones that are really ripe, you should just be able to pull the middle stem out of it. So it's almost like a really, you know, almost overly cooked drumstick. I'm not quite ready yet. That stem part's okay, but ideally we're gonna find one that is totally ripe and ready to go. So that way we're able to take it straight up. No, that's really sweet. When they're ripe, they're very, very tasty. They look kind of a little weird, don't they? When they're ripe, they're very sweet. They have a unique flavor. I'm trying to think of what it maybe tastes like. I don't quite know, kind of like a berry almost. But very, very tasty.
Daddy.
This is an unexpected treat. I came over here to pick some of, see what there is to pick in his backyard, and was really surprised and happy to see these mulberries. So, oh, that one looks okay.
Just try it.
Let me try it, okay.
Can I try?
You want to try one? I'll pick you one, okay? With a lot of these types of fruit, the redder the better. But these mulberries, oh my goodness, almost the more wine color they are. If they're the color of almost like a very dark raspberry or like a light boysenberry, that's when they're ready to go. So now pull that stem out of there. Is that good? What does it taste like?
Ants.
Ah, get out of here, ants. Oh no!
Good?
These things, they're very juicy, but you see the juice comes out, it's almost like a blackberry, boysenberry. It will stain stuff, so you want to be careful you're not squirting this juice all over your hand, because it will, or other things, your clothes, because it'll totally stain your stuff. Okay, so go around the other side and see about getting that.
Alright.
It has to be dark though. The darker the better. Oh yeah, like this one here. This one's pretty good.
This one? Dad, can I pop it in my mouth?
You want to pop it in your mouth?
Yeah, me too.
Let me see it. All right, let's see it. Try it. Good? This is a great example of why you should keep your stuff trimmed low. Look at that stuff. There's a bunch of fruit near the top of there, and I can't reach it without going and finding a ladder. How annoying. So if my dad, you know, he's okay, he's got tons of room out here, he wants it to be a big tree, but it's a shame that I can't reach a bunch of that fruit higher up because his canopy's so tall. So that's a big reason why to keep your canopy short. So when you're pulling these off, we got a good little haul here. When you're pulling them off, you want them to come off with a very, very light touch, and that gives you an idea that they're ripe or mostly ripe. So if you're having to tug on it at all, leave it. Be patient, don't be greedy like me. Leave them on there. These things look an awful lot like chili peppers, little cuddly chili peppers. So there's that tree. There were a bunch on there that were still ripe, or not ripe, like halfway ripe. But this is what we ended up with. Okay, what I've got here are these two mulberries that once we got them in next to each other, it's hard to tell when they're under the tree. I think maybe the kiddos picked one of these. I'm gonna try them both and tell you what each of them tastes like. This one on this side is very definitely ripe, and the one that's lighter is not quite ripe, and so I'm gonna describe the flavors of each. See, we're gonna start with a not quite ripe one. So it's It's sweet, but it's got kind of almost a grassy taste, like wheatgrass maybe, something that's more vegetative. I've been thinking like carrot or maybe beet juice or something like that. So, not bad, but you know, probably just a few of those. Let's do the ripe one. Much better, 10 times as sweet, much more of a berry flavor. All that vegetative stuff is maybe still there, but very, very hidden if it is. That's a little stem. You can eat that stem if you want to, but it's kind of fun. That actually lets you know if you got a really ripe one also, in addition to the taste, is when that stem can just come right clean out of it. That's pretty good. It's pretty good. The darker the better. You saw how dark. Here's another example of one that's going to be really ripe. See how deep that is? The deeper and the more boysenberry-ish the color, the better it's going to taste. Let's see. See it slid right off? That's really good. Unfortunately, most of the ones that are in here, the mulberries were more like the first one I showed you and less like the second, but hey, it'll be good. There's a little update on these. You know what I noticed is as I let them sit, they darkened in color and the taste ended up being even sweeter, kind of more uniformly, instead of just those that were very, very berry colored. So yeah, it turns out that letting these sit for a little bit may help the flavor. Just a little tip. So I mentioned earlier in the video that these can stain stuff, and while it can stain your fingers with the juice, you see that juice can do that. You also want to be careful because as the juice, or as these fall off of the tree, they can get picked up by your shoes and get tracked inside. They can stain your stuff or put the juice on there, and you may end up making a mess of your carpet. So be really careful when you're pruning these. I also mentioned earlier in the video that the roots are really aggressive. If you plant it near something like a sidewalk, which actually my dad did, I hadn't thought about that. Those roots, as they go out, can easily lift a sidewalk. They do that sort of thing. Now, what do you do with these? You can either eat these fresh, or you can treat them like you would a boysenberry or a blackberry. Put them in cobbler or throw them in a smoothie, freeze them, eat them. Treat them like you would any of these other berries. But they're really tasty, the mulberry. That was an unexpected treat. I'm really glad I saw those today.